We gonna hop right in. Hop right in. Before we do,
what?
Like always, fair use. Fair use. This is for educational purposes. Feel me? Alright, so like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get back into the but we're gonna go ahead and get into this video. Fair use disclaimer. YouTube, please. YouTube, please. I'm gonna fast forward this because I don't like this nigga intro.
I'm Bruce Rivers, board certified criminal lawyer. And what does that mean that I'm board certified? That means I've got a ton of trial experience and that I know what I'm talking about. And when I talk about these cases, I'm talking about it from knowing and being in the courtroom and seeing winning cases and losing cases. I've tried win more than I lose, but I have won a lot of cases and I've tried a lot of cases over the 25 years of experience. So that's what it means to be board certified, tried, true, and tested. But before we get into Mr. Tate, because Mr. Tate was in court yesterday, we are sponsored by eForms.com. That's eForms.com.
Fair use disclaimer, we is not sponsored by this.
And he's down there and doing all kinds of stuff.
Mean?
That's illegal.
YouTube don't take us down. Fair use. This is
what do? You go to eForms.com.
Purposes.
You get an eviction notice. You get the cops and the sheriff to get him the hell out of there. Because you don't want Andrew Tate in your basement, do you? Because guess what? Your grandma's down there and you don't want her having an OnlyFans page with Andrew Tate. So you get him out of there so your grandma's not subject to such treatment by Andrew Tate. You go to eForms.com. They've got the forms right there. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Go to eForms.com and they will take care of you. Okay, so this is an update on Mr. Andrew Tate. Mr. Tate was in court yesterday. He is being detained for at least another 30 days. His lawyer, Mr. Vladniak, really solid lawyer, by the way, he has said they're going to appeal. This is also the same guy that said he wasn't arrested. When you're like this and you're with the back of a fucking squad car, that means you're arrested. And he was arrested. And he's in custody. And now here's the thing. The laws in Romania are not like they are here. They're getting better. And in fact, there's a whole international coalition about sex trafficking and trying to get everybody on the same page. The guidelines here, the federal guidelines here on sex trafficking in the United States is absolutely through the roof. I think they start out at a 27 and they have all these enhancements. But they're just through the roof. You could be looking at 30.
Alright, I had to go ahead and pause this video. A girl came back.
He is not looking at that much time in Romania. He is looking at 3 to 10 years in Romania. That's just on the sex trafficking charges, okay? There's 2 other charges. There's a rape charge,
right, so
and there's also a criminal...
Andrew Tate situation, if y'all not aware, been arrested in Romania for supposed sex trafficking. It's a big charge. A lot of people that I've seen has been trying to downplay, you know what I mean? And it's weird to me because they be trying to blame it on, oh, it's the Illuminati and blah blah this and blah blah that, or Andrew Tate don't got a sex traffic because he rich, blah blah this and blah blah that. Like all these cases or all these situations and excuses like people was making for this man, it's kind of weird. Like if that was the case, I don't think police are going to, if they wanted to arrest him for whatever because he's a top G and he's empowering all of these men and whatever everybody that's on his dick want to admit to, they don't have to get him for sex trafficking. They don't have to arrest him for sex trafficking. They could just arrest him. You know what I mean? They could have arrested him on a bullshit traffic ticket or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they just wanted to get him just to get him, So I don't buy that shit, So he was arrested for sex trafficking in Romania, and just like this lawyer has explained, or is starting to explain, the laws in the United States and other countries are different when it comes to sex trafficking. The United States, when it comes to sex trafficking, is pretty strict. If I'm not mistaken, you can get a minimum of like 10 years or something like that. I haven't really looked too much into it, but we'll go ahead and do that. Like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Feel me? Also, fair use disclaimer. I'm going to keep saying that. Fair use disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes, to educate myself and the masses. You feel me? So before I go ahead and let this dude get into it, I just want to go over what uh, is, I guess, considered sex trafficking. So I just used Google, you know what I mean? Laws on sex trafficking. Came across this place is what is the act of sex trafficking. So just kind of give you guys a idea of what sex trafficking is. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the use of commercial sex act, which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. If I said that correctly. If I didn't, sorry, I'm working on it. You feel me? Or which a person has, well, excuse me, or in which the person induced to perform such act has not attained 18 years of age. So, sex trafficking isn't holding women in the cages. Sex trafficking is, like I said, recruitment, harboring, transportation, and those can be an array of things, you know what I mean? And some of these red pill guys, what's his name? Spookio, I don't know, popular YouTuber, Spokio, let me look. Let me make sure I got his name right. What's his name? Spokio? I don't know. Y'all know who I'm talking about, though. He's a YouTuber. He has been on a few podcasts. He's been, banned. He had his own YouTube channel, but he recently was on a video talking about this Andrew Tate situation and talking about how, Andrew Tate, don't have women in cages. He been to his house and all this other goofy shit. When sex trafficking you don't necessarily have to have women locked in cages to be considered a sex trafficker.
Organization charge. So they've arrested 4 people. Andrew Tate's going to be there for the next 30 days.
So
I don't
Andrew
think
Tate
there's any
and his
reason
brother
for
got arrested.
an
The you
appeals
said
court
there's
to
been 4
overturn
people
that.
arrested.
He's got
I know Andrew
Vladniak,
Tate,
and that's the lawyer.
I don't
Remember
know
we
what
did that little video about who he wants for a fucking lawyer?
I walked in there and said, listen, I've committed multiple felonies.
I would never want this guy for a client. Get the fuck out of my office. You want to know what the reality is, and you tell them the truth. You don't tell them what they want to hear. And he just wants to hear what he wants to hear.
Am I going to go to jail?
Well,
probably. Well, then
probably gonna
see.
be watching a lot of this guy videos, like I was saying earlier. I would like to, get lawyers' perspective on these type of things, just to gain more knowledge in how these court systems and everything work. So I'll be probably going over. We'll probably be on this dude page a lot, and discussing some of his videos and how he breaks down and his thoughts on a lot of these situations. And I think a lot of you guys should do the same.
Bye.
You want me to lie to you? Oh, no, I can win that case hands down. Hold on.
I committed multiple felonies. Did ya? Are you going to be sitting in jail?
He just
Yes.
come on.
Boy! That's
They
what he
admitted
said.
to
That's
it.
what he fucking
He
said.
admitted
But what does
to
that mean?
committing
For
multiple
he is in
felonies,
jail. I mean, is he
which
looking
is
for a new
admitted to
lawyer? Because
crimes.
his lawyer didn't win the bail argument, did he?
Bozo.
And let me tell you something about
Bozo, I can't believe a lot of niggas really follow this guy too. Like, first couple of times I've seen him on the Fresh and Fit podcast, I was like, oh, this nigga goofy. Then I came across a video of him of, like, I don't know if he was like a young teen or a young adult, but he was just looking ultimate goofy. And no offense, I ain't trying to, call people losers for lack of a better term and shit like that, but that's what he looked like. He looked like a loser. He probably got dissed by a lot of women. Probably got cheated on a bunch of times, which, everybody experienced. But when you get cheated on and you don't have access to women, or your access to women has been very limited, it affects you a lot differently. And in that video I seen of him as a young adult or whatever it was, he was looking like a super loser.
that aspect of things. When you got a guy
He
like
looked like
Andrew,
one of them dudes that just, you know what I mean, got into shape, just got some confidence, and you know now he wreaking havoc on women, and you know what I mean, because they dissed him, you know, when he was younger, type shit.
Tate. He's probably like a caged animal right now, just going absolutely batshit crazy. And he's probably he's blowing up his lawyer's phone like nobody's business. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another lawyer on this case in short order, because he's not going to stand for sitting in jail. He's thinking there's somebody. I'm bigger than anything that ever has been, so that nobody can. No, you're just like the rest of us. Put your pants on one leg at a time. So let's first.
He gonna snitch because to be involved in like this sex trafficking shit is pretty serious, man. Like I said, I kind of feel like he knew what he was doing, because the United States don't play about that type of shit. I mean, you know, we probably some of the biggest sex traffickers, you know what I mean, as far as a country. You know, we all know Jeffrey Epstein, you know what I mean, and in that situation, a lot of people on that list, people who had visited his office, from political people to sports and entertainment figures. But as far as the laws, the United States don't play with that type of shit. Romania is more relaxed and everything, and I believe he was also in London or some European country. Is where he started a lot of this shit, and if I'm not mistaken, this dude is gonna go into some of that. But he was, I don't want to say smart, because that sounds terrible. If he was sex trafficking, I don't want to say he's smart for doing that, but he was smart to go to Romania, because their laws when it comes to that kind of stuff isn't as strict.
Let's take a look from his own words.
I kind of feel like that's
he
the admission of guilt
as he started this business to create all this wealth for himself.
He's on the Fresh and Fit.
He appeared on Fresh and Fit.
We're gonna be watching
Actually, the guy
videos
Myron,
too.
we bantered back and forth, and he's a former Homeland Security agent. These are his own words. Remember what I said before about your own words? Your own words, whether it's a song or whether it's this, an interview can bite you in the ass, and it can be used against you in a court of law. So let's see what he says.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly as big, and I found this little webcam thing, and I was like, this might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me.
Listen to the tone, first of all. You're all coming here to live and work with me. But he didn't text, he didn't say you're all. He texted each one of them individually.
Bro, Tristan will tell you the story. He'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up. They're all sitting there. I sat around the same table. Listen, I need to get paid, right? I'm broke now.
You're broke now? This is just at the beginning stages of
this
what
is
he's doing.
I have no money.
How he got
I'm running out of money.
his
So I put them all around the same
millions,
table.
supposedly.
And I was like, look, we're going to start a webcam business. You're going to stay. You're going to live in London. I'm going to look after you. And we're going to get rich. We're going to be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch?
And remember, he started out in London. And why did he go to Romania? Why did he go to Romania?
This bitch. I'm like, she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations.
75 women in 4 locations.
And I was doing $600,000 a month. This is in the UK, but this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, da-da-da. But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man.
Ladies, any of you ladies that love this man, no.
Me from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites. So we're working together, but then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, started being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. You never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, you're...
See, that's what I mean about niggas being goofy.
I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up like here. It was just out the window. So throws out the window. Got her by her 2 arms and marched her out the door, locked the door. End of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing. You threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went...
Trafficking. Took a girl to another country, You're holding her funds or stopping her from access to her funds. You threw out her shit. I'm pretty sure you probably kept some of her shit.
Went to the police.
Oh shit.
And told the police I hit her.
This is how it starts. This is how law enforcement involvement with him starts.
4 months later, 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. And I heard the door boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. As soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police. But I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life.
Now, that is a form of self-snitching. That indicates that there's things out there that are illegal that he's done.
Right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I flush my phone down the toilet quickly.
So I destroy evidence. I flush my phone down the toilet.
I'm coming!
I'm pretty sure they're going to use this video in his court case as well.
Hiding
It's like he just
I'm
admitted
destroying
to
evidence. One of the
crimes.
problems that you have with a guy like
Goofy
this
shit.
is there's a treasure trove
this y'all top.
of statements that he
This
makes
the nigga y'all.
that a prosecutor
This
can
nigga
use.
y'all watched and was like inspired by, which also make y'all goofy niggas. I'm
to
gonna call y'all, people call them bozos or clowns and all that shit. I'm gonna call you niggas doinks. From now on, I don't know if y'all watch wrestling, you know what I mean? But Doink was a clown in wrestling. That's what I'm calling niggas from now on. You niggas is doinks.
impeach him with if he ever decides to testify. So that gives you a little bit of read on how he started his empire, for lack of a better word. He made his money on the backs of young women. He said 75 women
And he's
in 4
bashing women.
locations. The other thing he told you is that he destroyed evidence. Not only that, he was concerned with how he would look in front of the other women in terms of control. Because I can't let her get over on me because then I won't have control over these other women. That's the theme you get from that interview. Okay, so we have basically the origin, the beginnings of his business dealings in this area. Now, let's see how he operates. By his own words. These are his own words.
Also, when you're a real G, is that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're gonna go to Poland, you're gonna go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches Tate Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out.
So I got all these chicks, they're in love with me. They don't go out. They're not allowed out. So restricting somebody of their movement is part of force, fraud, or coercion. Because what happens?
Trafficking. Remember what I said earlier about what was considered trafficking. I'll go over it again. Harboring, recruitment.
Happens if they go out.
Tate's away, so they go out with their friends. No. You don't go to the club with your friends. I don't know what kind of bitch-ass dude is letting his chicks go to the club with her friends without him. No. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere.
Harboring.
No restaurants.
Sorry, Spokio, whatever your name is. You don't have to have women locked up in cages. Clown. Excuse me. Doink. You don't have to have women locked up in cages. That is harboring. You're not allowing them to leave.
No clubs, nothing.
Do you get to eat? Do you get to take a shit? I mean, when you start controlling somebody like that, that is the crux of you come here on a promise of whatever,
Another
but when you
country.
get here, I control your every movement. That's coercion. That's absolute coercion.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved.
This is your man. This is your top G. In your previous video, let's go back to it. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
It was police. As soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police. I went to the police on her own, maybe drunk one day, and she.
Ladies, any of you ladies that
Listen.
love this man, no.
Listen to what he's
from the
saying.
ghetto streets to the hotel suites. So we're working together. But then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up. Started being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. You never hit a girl, right? Can't do that.
Never hit a girl. Never hit a girl. He just said on the Fresh and Fit podcast, you never hit a girl. Then we get here.
What do you want? Want a job that I don't hate.
These damn ads.
Want to do something
In the meantime,
that
like,
matters.
subscribe, comment,
But I don't know
all
what that
other
thing
shit.
is.
Tell a friend,
I
tell
feel
a
like
friend,
I want someone to tell me exactly
fair
what to
use
do.
disclaimer as
I
well.
want to stop feeling
This
like if I
is for
take one more
educational
step, I'm just
purposes,
going to fall
educate
into
myself
a pit
and the
forever.
masses.
What do you...
Right? Now he's making money off the backs of all these ladies, and they're
So as we just seen,
brought to him because they're
as we just seen, he said, "Don't hit a woman. Don't hit a woman." He said he threw her shit out, locked the door. She went to the police. Keep in mind, he brought this woman from one country to this country. So this isn't her home. She doesn't have access to funds. He's keeping her funds from her. He said that, I'll go back, but he said, he's basically keeping the funds from her. He threw her stuff out. He threw her out. So he brought this woman to another country to exploit herself on the internet, kept her funds from her, and don't know what to do anymore. Don't want to deal with her anymore. Why she's in a foreign country.
in love with him, and their movement is restricted, and according to him, they're beaten. That is slavery. That is sex slavery. That is exactly what sex trafficking statutes are designed to prevent.
I went too far.
Come here on a promise of whatever, but when you get here, I control your every movement. That's coercion. That's absolute coercion.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass.
But on the Fresh and Fit podcast, he said you don't hit a woman. In this video, he's talking about, I don't even gotta fuck you. I'ma just beat you up. This is y'all mans. This is y'all top G. Come on, man. Drinks.
No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then. Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me, trying to resist, and I just poof.
Juxtaposed with that, what he said on Fresh and Fit, it just doesn't jive. That is who he's got to be in order to control these women, in order to keep the money coming in.
This y'all top
Because
G.
he was broke before, right? Now he's making money off the backs of all these ladies.
Now he's making money off women, but bashing women. He got rich using women. But then he want to be like, oh, basically bitches ain't shit. Don't trust them. All this other shit.
And
man.
they're brought to him
subscribe to
because
this
they're in
shit?
love with him, and their movement is restricted, and according to him, they're beaten. That is slavery. That is sex slavery. That is exactly what sex trafficking statutes are designed to prevent.
This
So
is coming from
that
a lawyer.
video and a couple articles have been posted
So
by
he just
Tori.
admitted in these couple of videos that he watched of Andrew Tate himself that is literally what they consider sex trafficking. I'm going to go back to this already. I went over it. But sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation. So let's break it down. He said that he brought these women to this country for this. That's recruitment. Transportation, brought them to another country. They gotta fly, boat, whatever. That's transportation. Harboring, he said these women cannot go out. They have to be in the house. Harboring.
2.0. We got to give her a shout out to her because it's a good synopsis of where we're at with Mr. Tate. There's an American woman who was lured to Romania because promising a love interest with Andrew Tate. And he lures her there through Facebook. And when she gets there, she realizes it's a total scam. Some of these women actually had tattoos on them saying owned by Tate. I belong to Tate. Tattooed on their arms. Now, Mr.
Incriminating.
Tate is
It's y'all
just
top
at the
G.
very infant stages of this whole case, because Romania is one of the countries that is part of this international compact on sex trafficking, and they're trying to increase their enforcement and get more in line with neighboring nations, the U.S. being one of them. Not a neighboring nation, but in this coalition. Mr. Tate is going to see that the Romanian authorities are going to cooperate with the U.S. Trafficking this young girl to Romania under false pretenses, and then not allowing her to leave, and then using her for sex acts
That's recruitment,
online
transportation,
is
and
sex
harboring
trafficking,
right there.
and it violates U.S. law. Violating U.S. law makes him subject to prosecution in the United States. I don't have any information to suggest that he has been charged or that he's even under investigation with the United States, but I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. decides to prosecute Andrew Tate.
And I believe that these
for
women
sex
are
trafficking
from
as
the
well.
United States.
Now,
I think
Mr.
that
Tate
he will be
was born in
charged.
Chicago. He is a U.S. citizen. He holds dual citizen in Great Britain and in the United States. He and his brother are. One of the issues that you're going to have in terms of detention for somebody that has multiple citizenship is whether they're a risk of flight or not. And now he's got means because he's got money. He's told you all about his Bugattis, his 33 vehicles, and everything. Let's see what else he has to say about passports.
Same thing with passports, man. If I fuck up and England wants me in jail, I can fly on a Nigerian passport, or an American, or an English, or a Polish, or an Estonian. I have so many passports. What, are you going to block them all? They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another.
And he's just telling us. I guarantee all these videos are going to be used in his case. We use these ads.
He's on my fantasy
Like,
football
subscribe, comment,
Remelty Jesus, 2 crunchy
share,
shells.
tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Fair use disclaimer as well. This is for educational purposes.
I've got bank account.
He's got so much content that's out there that it just flouts any kind of respect for law enforcement or respect for any notion that he's not a flight risk. All I got to do is play that in front of a judge. If I'm a prosecutor, which I'm not, it just if I'm the defense lawyer, how do you combat that? See, the thing is, if the girls get there and they realize it's not Shangri-La and that they're being mistreated,
it goes into what I was saying earlier, man. Fellas, we have to do better. We have to do better. If you are committing crimes, you should not be on the internet or any video talking about those. Niggas gotta learn how to keep their mouth shut. Period.
they're going to want to leave. But guess what? If you take their passports, they can't leave the country. And you now control them. So you're controlling them with physical violence. You're controlling them, their physical location, where they can go and what they can do. And you're controlling them by taking their passports. There's so much evidence that Mr. Tate is engaged in sex trafficking, or at least it seems to me. And it's really by his own admission. I mean, because one of his monikers, or one of his hallmarks of his personality, is the disrespect and the controlling of women. So for some reason, he thinks that's cool. And he thinks it's really cool to brag about how he can either be.
A lot of y'all think that's cool and it's goofy. We gotta stop that shit, fellas. We can't sit here and bash women. I know, we gonna do it, you know what I mean? But we gotta cut it down, man. We gotta cut it down. All your content can't be about bashing and being disrespectful to women, man. Period.
Beat the shit out of a woman or control their every movement, because they just love him or whatever. But all those statements that he's made on his own, there's just a treasure trove of information that he has put out there himself. Nobody else, these are his words. Trapping a girl in Romania by stealing their passports and forcing them to work for a webcam. That is sex trafficking 101. And
he's admitted to this shit
bringing
on camera.
A young girl from the United States to Romania. He's subjected himself
Everybody
to
defending this man, you're an idiot.
Prosecution in Romania,
Point blank,
United
period.
States.
Ain't nothing
I don't know about
if,
Great
ands,
Britain,
what's about
but I'm sure that's something that's probably on the table as well. I represented a female that was charged with sex trafficking, along with 38 other. There was 38 women and one or maybe two guys that were charged in the case. That when it was like a 7-week trial, and we tried to claim agency. You know, a woman has her agency; she can do whatever she wants. And I've heard some comments in our last video about that oh, these women, you know, blah blah blah, blaming the women. A lot of these women, in fact, most of them did not work in the sex industry before. They were lured there with visions of romance with Mr. Tate, and in fact, Mr. Tate was actually responsible for a lot of the.
I work for Bank of America in fraud, and we get a lot of cases like this. You know, I'm not talking about sex trafficking, but I'm talking about people getting scammed out of shit in the name of love. It happens. It happens. You can't sit here and say, oh, this person loved me, so I flew him to this country, you know, allowed them to make content, exposing themselves sexually, and then I kicked them out in the foreign country, took their passport, took their money. Like, come on, man, that shit don't even make sense.
The typing.
He got famous
so
off
when
of
you think
saying
you're
this
talking
type
to
of
those hot
shit.
chicks, it was actually
Niggas
him.
is weird.
But they didn't have experience in this business. They're extremely vulnerable. They're in a country that they don't know anything about, don't have any resources, and here they are with no passport,
and they
no money, no way. And you heard him on Fresh and Fit was saying, "I'm not gonna fucking pay you." I mean, and guess what? Pissing her off cost him more money and trouble than it did to pay her. This has just been our reaction to the latest and the greatest on Andrew Tate. He is now detained. He ain't getting out for at least 30 days. And then he has been formally charged. We'll see what happens. And I don't really know the Romanian system. I know that he's looking between 3 to 10 years. In the United States, he'd be looking at, 10 to 30 years plus, depending upon the different enhancements. It's 18 USC 1591, and you can look it up yourself. It's 18 USC 1591, and limiting their movement. In that case that I tried, the prosecutor had probably the best line in the whole trial. She says, "You walk away from a job, you run away from slavery," and these girls couldn't even run away, and that's what he's looking at. So we'll continue to follow this and treat women with respect. I don't know how else to put it.
It's just that simple.
Women deserve respect. Everybody deserves respect.
Everybody.
But when you're a guy, don't idolize somebody like this.
Everybody, man, you deserve respect too. Everybody deserves respect. But like they say, treat people how you want to be treated. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but come on, man. I don't see how you can watch these videos this dude has presented and still try to defend Andrew Tate. I don't see how you can watch any of his videos and try to defend him after these allegations. Like, my first couple of times of watching any of his content, I was mad at my brother because my brother was like, "Oh, this Andrew Tate guy." I said, "What?" I said, "What? You watch this nigga?" Bro, this nigga is a clown. This nigga is a clown. I watched one of his videos on Fresh and Fit with him, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this nigga is goofy. A year later, he blew up. I'm not mad at him. You know what I mean? But you reap what you sow. You know what I mean? You can't sit here and build your whole empire on using women and then bash them.
Has nothing but contempt and just uses women for his own benefit. You know, he didn't give any of those Bugattis to any of these women. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer
cars,
Reacts.
33
I'm
cars,
Bruce
but
Rivers,
you mad at one
board
woman
certified
throwing
criminal
the
defense
lead?
lawyer. Make sure you
You
subscribe.
such
Follow us on
a
Instagram.
top G, a baller, and got access to all these women and shit like that. One leaving, why? Like just like the lawyer said. Just like the lawyer said, this one incident with this woman, him not wanting to pay her, cost him everything. Fellas, we just gotta be a little smarter. Just a little smarter. You know what I mean? You know, like, subscribe, comment. I said that I, you know what I mean, was gonna get into the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez thing. I'll probably do that another day. My baby home, so I'm finna cut this video short and go spend some time with my woman. You know what I mean? I advise y'all to do the same. If you don't have one, you better get you one. Like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I'm out.